Peace YouTube, this is Florboom coming to you today on the ritual day. You know I'm not participating in the ritual. I'll let a few of you in before I start off. Listen, I walked outside, it is empty. All of these folk out here are participating in the Super Bowls ritual. It's empty out here like the apocalypse. I came out here like Walking Dead, like there wasn't anybody out here. Everybody's in their house preparing their hoagies, their beer, their yeast infected beer with all the parasites ready to go to take down their throat. Peace everyone. I thought I'd come in today just to check in for those of you who aren't participating in the ritual of the Illuminati. You know, you did a stream talking about it nonstop. I hope you did. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that are going on. Look at it. It's like, listen, people are just coming in. Everywhere was wild yesterday. Huge lines. Yeah, this is like, I see couples just coming really quick, going in and coming out because they're all preparing for the ritual. This is amazing. This is, listen, we can't get together to hold hands and to kumbaya, but you take the Super Bowls, which is a gay pride holiday. Listen, this is my pitch. Super Bowls should be another gay pride holiday. I personally think that the gay pride holiday should take in Super Bowls, because now, family, they even have male cheerleaders. And I presumably, and this is not what I know to be, but presumably the males that they added to the cheerleaders are gay males, gay brown males, which I find it interesting that they only have gay brown males representing the gay populace in this. I think it should be unified. I think they should have all different types of gay males if they're going to, if it's not agenda based. I find it interesting that during an agenda they will only show feminized brown males as opposing to show all, you know, feminine representation of gay males, like, you know, lunar males. How interesting is that? So yeah, so now they've added, I told you Super Bowls is a gay sport. It is a sport that I think only gay men should really enjoy. I think it's a beautiful sport for them to enjoy. I think it's very, very wait, she said being a lesbian, I'm not okay with the ritual at all. I stay away from all that. Well, lesbianism and gay, I think sometimes, you know, I think it's a different, I think the agenda with the dark cabal is more so with gay males. I personally think there's more so of that emphasizing of showing more of feminine males as opposed to lesbians. And I think a lot of times there could be that could be misconstrued, because when I'm talking about gay pride, maybe I should just say gay males. I should maybe just say that instead, because it has to do with only gay males engaging and bending over with tight spandex, you know, with their anal cavity exposed to other men while they have a ball between their legs, and you know the man is going hike, and they're chasing him like, you know, like a sexual, you know, like chasing him like, you know, like a mating ritual, chasing this man with his ball in his hand, his brown ball in his hand, and then they tackle him when they get a chance, and then they all jump on top. You think I'm, you know, I'm just saying, I haven't any problem with it being a gay sport. I think it's beautiful for gay men to watch that. I think they should really have I think they should add it to their holiday. I think there should be a rainbow flag. I think them adding the men as cheerleaders is them coming out of the closet. I think somebody said they have too much clothes on for the men. I think that's going to change for the last Super Bowl 9 next year. 45 next year, right? Is 45? That's the last Super Bowl. The last Super Bowl, they're probably just going to be with poom shorts and makeup. You know, no pun intended. Yeah, I just think it's interesting. So I'm just, you know, I'm watching right now. I'm going out. You know, I just stepped out for a little bit to do a couple errands. I wanted to touch base on the political, you know, air that's happening. A lot is unfolding. I'm in a new timeline, so I just stepped out of my home, my shell, for the first time since we jumped timelines, really. I was out a little bit yesterday, but I'm noticing even my environment has changed. What about the sport, basketball? Basketball has to do with the Centaurians. That's a whole nother level of that's a different thing. They still have a ball. They're obsessed with the ball, but they're trying to put the ball in a lot more heterosexual in symbolism, because they're still trying to put the, I think there's a little more masculine about doing everything. They usually wear baggy shorts, sneakers, things of that nature. Oh, I'm glitching? Uh-oh. Oh, am I jumping timelines? Hopefully I'll come back. Am I coming back to the timeline? I think it's like I said, I think, again, it should just be observed. I choose to stay out of the ritual. And also I want to touch on the fact that this ritual comes on a precipice of the new moon in Aquarius. You know this, right? So they did the ritual. They kicked off the ritual. The Illuminati kicked off and opened the vortex. I know they did on the full moon, lunar eclipse, wolf moon, blood moon. And now they're going to close out their ritual on the precipice of the new moon in Aquarius. So they're utilizing all the energies, and the ritual closes out with a bang. So I don't know who's performing. Who's performing for the Super Balls? Who's performing for the Super Balls? I want to know which Illuminati patsy or puppet is performing. Do we know who's performing? Anyone? Maroon 5. Okay, that's part of the, well, that's a gay male group that represents the rainbow flag. Okay, so Maroon 5. Okay, did you hear about the Dems saying that they are passing a bill that's more that any more newborns born, they hold them under until they decide things? They can kiss anyone's behind. Let me explain something. When I give birth to my little one stays with me and my little one leaves with me. Okay, so long as my little one is anywhere near or in a hospice situation, and Papa Bear will be the times monitoring behavior. Remember, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I require a little more monitoring, a little bit. But by all means, you listen. Healthy parents will make sure they stay around their newborns, their babies. Your offspring should be monitored at all times. You know you know what the agenda is in hospital situations. You know the type of beings that rock in those positions. So you just be mindful. You were born at home, Lynn? I think it's beautiful. A lot of more babies were born at home. I was almost born at home. I was almost born in a toilet bowl. I'm joking. I'm not really joking. I was gonna say I'm joking. Yeah, my mother. I was ready to come. I was 28 inches, long baby with long black. I look. They just knew my mother was coming from a reservation. I swear to the family. Listen, my mother was giving birth to me. She didn't even know she was in labor. She went to go to the bathroom. I know this is TMI. This is what it is. And she saw She saw black hair down there, but it wasn't hers, it was mine. And she tried to push me back up. She didn't want to have me in the toilet. She said I was ready to come whether she wanted me or not. I had jet black hair, tons of it. The nurses had a ball with me. They said they thought we were from a reservation. I'm being honest. I looked like I was straight. Like I looked like if you could have wrapped me up. I looked like a straight Cherokee baby. I had pitch black hair and the nurses put bows all over my hair. Yeah. It was a beautiful birth. She didn't really do anything. She was giving birth with it was easy breezy. There wasn't any pain with me. I came out 28 inches, or was I 29 inches? I was a long baby with lots of hair. Yeah, it was interesting. My mother could tell when she tells the story. It's so funny. I gave birth to my baby in the shower. Oh, did you? That's Juanita. Did you give birth knowing you were gonna give birth to her in the shower? You caught her in your hands. It's interesting. I just want a healthy birth. That's all. With a short skirt and a long jacket. They have beautiful natural centers for giving birth, birthing centers, to go there unless they have a lot of money, because remember, insurances don't pay for a lot of the alternative hospice such scenarios like doulas and midwives. You usually have to come out of pocket. So just remember that. You know, she said she almost died and lost oxygen to your brain. Oh, I'm sorry, Tatiana. You did? Yeah, listen, birthing isn't any joke. It's life, bringing life in. Your body metamorphosizes in so many different ways. It is the most humbling experience. That's why for those who want to be women, and this is where one of the sea stars said this before. I think this was Kubaka, big up to Kubaka, who we're speaking to online the other day on Instagram. But Kubaka was saying, you know, she has to say that she's a woman, a woman, a natural woman, born woman. She said that. But you know what's interesting is because a lot of people, you know, with the sex changes and everything like that, transsexualism being on the rise, you know, there is this thought that by changing your sex, you become a woman. There isn't a way that you can change. You can't ever be a woman unless you are able to give birth. Or you have born with a womb and you go through this process of being able to have a stargate between your legs. There isn't any mimicking of that. It's not to denounce anyone who feels feminine. It's beautiful to feel feminine. I understand why some men want to be women. I appreciate being a woman. I appreciate my you know, my softness, my feminine wiles. I appreciate the way that I show up in the world. I appreciate my stargate. You know, I understand why everyone would want to mimic that. It's a beautiful to be able to create life. That's something anyone would want to be. So I understand. So you won't ever hear me criticize transsexuals. I think women are the most divine creatures and so lovely and so powerful. Anybody should want to mimic that. It's lovely. So you can't ever be upset at men for wanting to have, you know, take on that quality, especially if they feel very feminine and they like that and they admire that. They may want to mimic it. You know, you can't get mad at people to want to mimic it, but we got to keep it 1,000. The only women are women. Women are women who have stargates between their legs. Whether they utilize their stargate or not, that makes you a woman. You know, shedding your womb every month, having the ability to give forth life, that's a beautiful quality. And I appreciate it. You want to do a water birth? Afraid my body may not be able to handle it. Water birth is just, listen, the best position to give birth is squatting. I don't know why the hospitals, you know, only a patriarchy would decide for a woman to lie flat on her back with stirrups and allow a man between her legs to tell her to push. I mean, I just think that's heinous, and I think that's a form of abuse. And hopefully, you know, you have the option in your hospice situation to stand and squat. Let gravity help you along. That's how all animals do it. That's how all women back in the days did it. You're supposed to stand and squat. I mean, let the gravity help and assist. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I got a phone call. Yeah, gravity helps you to give birth. So, you know, in situations, I remember the first time they had me lying on my back was hurting. I was like, I don't want to lie on my back. Yo, lie down. No, I want to stand up. I want to stand up. And you naturally will squat. Your body will naturally tell you what to do. You know, a lot of times, like I said, it's a patriarchal system with a lot of ritualistic type of activities that they create and promote in hospice situations that are unnatural. So it allows for more trauma to the mother and child. You know, like I said, you know, even with, you know, I said, because even with getting pregnant and so on, I say, you know, I've looked at about miscarrying, and I said, why would I be concerned about that? If life is, I personally think when life is meant to come through, there isn't anything that will stop it. So if a miscarriage happens to any woman, I say this to women, many women, including myself, I've had that previously. If you've had a miscarriage, there isn't anything that isn't meant, if it's meant to come through, it will come through. If it isn't, it means that it's not time, it means the energies aren't permissible right now. Maybe the scenario, the baby's waiting for another scenario or another frequency to come through. You know, and I also know, I've accepted that if you give a miscarriage, that soul will come back through at another time. Okay, so a lot of times people, you know, that's the first question they ask me now. Like, if you had a miscarriage, what would you I would feel like it wasn't the time, but I'm grateful to have the experience and have the child, you know, interact with that frequency while they're in me. And then if that happens, if that's the case, then I would welcome that soul at another time, or just accept that maybe this wasn't the appropriate time frame, or maybe it was for me to learn something different through the frequency of being pregnant. Is a lot of different things, but I think everything is meant as it's meant to be. So there isn't any fear. Anything, you can't lose anything that's actually yours. The soul always comes back. Any who's given that eventually the soul will portal through, however, and sometimes it portals through another person and that child comes through another portal to be a part of your family. It may not come through your portal. That's where you get people who adopt babies or have children added to their family system. That's because it was meant for a certain frequency, and that child will always be a party to you, regardless of how they come through. Abortions are the same. Abortions, I personally think that there aren't any souls with abortions. I think that personally, I personally, this is my opinion, I personally think when an abortion, I think if it's predetermined abortion, like a woman has in her mind that this child isn't something that she's going to bring to fruition, I personally think no, there isn't any soul that's inserted. I think it's just basically an energetic exchange and then the expelling. That's my opinion. So if you're afraid that when you get an abortion, this is my personal take, I personally think that there wouldn't be a soul inserted. I almost think that the souls are inserted when it knows, because everything knows when it's coming through, when it knows that it's going to come through. Okay, so you know, I know a lot of women struggle with the idea of abortion, there isn't any condoning of it, but there isn't any, you know, dispelling it or saying it's. You know, some women utilize it as a form of birth control. I disagree with that, but if you're traumatized because the frequency isn't good, because sometimes, you know, if you bring a child into this world under a traumatic situation, if it's rape, or if it's under the circumstances of a father being abusive, or maybe you are sick and your health is the baby, it's either you or the child. I think there's extraneous circumstances where someone would choose that. There isn't any agreeing or disagreeing, but I'm just saying I understand why certain people would choose that. But souls come back through. If you've lost a child before, which I have, and I think many of you have, they always come back through. My girls came back through, and I remember feeling their vibration previously, so I knew it was those babies that weren't able to come through fruition. So like I said, if people say, oh, you're talking online about your pregnancy, what if something happens? If something happens, family, listen, I accept what is rightfully in appropriate frequency, however that shows up. If there isn't a child that comes to fruition, then I am grateful just for the exchange for that short period of time, and I will accept what is rightfully and purposefully in alignment with me. That's it. That's all. You know. So, you know. Anyway, let's go back to Super Balls. We're just going on tangents. Super Balls. Listen. I have a Starbucks double shot decaf today, and I'm feeling really swayzy. My doctor said I can have them once a week. And I'm okay with it. It's decaf. It has a little bit of caffeination. It's decaf. It doesn't taste as good anymore in this condition, but it does make me feel a little nostalgic. Anyway, so Super Balls. Some of you are going to be the scouts and watching Super Balls, so you should have your goggles on. I wish you guys had the goggles I bought. If you had your goggles on, you could protect yourself. You protect yourself from listen, every man that I know in my life is avoiding me today except my love of my life. All the other men are keeping away from me because I call it Super Balls. And they don't want me to rain on their parade today. So yeah, so you know, for those who are scouting today, who are going to still engage in the ritual, Okay, okay, YouTube on right now because I'm thinking the Super Bowls, monitors are on here. So anyway, I just want to close out by saying, be mindful of the energies. There's a new moon in Aquarius tomorrow. The energy is being utilized for this mass ritual today, along with the cold vortex that came through that is still, and then they're closing out the ritual. Should probably warm up for many of you after this ritual. So just be mindful that you should be utilizing the new moon for your own projection and what you desire, and writing things down that you are wanting to manifest with the new moon in Aquarius. Remember, Aquarius is an air sign. It brings about free thinking, analytical sensibilities day. Be mindful of the energy. Happy new moon in Aquarius, and we shall gather and talk. If there's comments on here, it's not showing up, so can't stop, won't stop. So anyway, family, love you.